What's going on, Graveyard Shift family? And as you can see, just what she said, it's about to be nap time, y'all. We're in Las Vegas still, and me and Axel are about to take a nap so Daddy can go down to them tables later on. Right. And hopefully win the Graveyard Shift some money, baby. We got our good friends Josh and Kelsey clocking back in, y'all. Let's throw to them. Yeah, I'm trying to get a 2-year-old to go to sleep. Help me. I'm blinking because I need y'all's help. She ain't going to sleep.
What's going on, Graveyard Shift? It's your fill-in fearless leaders, Josh and Kelsey, and we're checking back in today for the boss man. He called, he said, hey, I need some backup. I said, hey, you know I got your back, like a tight-fitting t-shirt. I done told you that. So we're here. And today we're actually speaking to the first family of bourbon. I thought, we're in Kentucky. We're in the bourbon capital of the world, Bardstown, Kentucky. Let's speak to the first family. So that's what we're doing today. And I did not give them the name, the first family, y'all. That's a name that's been given around here for a long time. Kelsey's going to jump into a little history and tell you how things got rolling for the Beam family.
James Jim Beauregard Beam comes from a legendary family line. To help keep things straight, we will call him Jim. It started with Jim's great-grandfather, Jacob Beam. Jacob was born in 1760. He left Maryland around the age of 28 and settled in the Bluegrass Hills of Kentucky. He was a miller by trade and used the surplus corn to make whiskey. He officially sold his first batch of whiskey in 1795. Jacob passed on the skill and tradition of distilling bourbon whiskey to one of his sons, David Beam, in 1820. David is the grandfather of Jim Beam. David moved the family distillery to Nelson County, closer to the state's first railroad. You can imagine how that helped things boom. Now, getting to Jim Beam, the legend we are speaking with today. Jim learned how to distill around the age of 16. He took over the family's operation in 1894 at the age of 30. He successfully ran the distillery, but was forced to shut down due to prohibition in 1919. He sold all of his liquor holdings and moved to Florida. He was a very hard-working man and attempted a variety of jobs to make ends meet, like growing citrus, coal mining, and running a limestone quarry. After Prohibition, around the age of 70, Jim returned to his native home of Kentucky. He built a distillery in 120 days, which is really quick for that time. On August 14, 1934, he incorporated the James B. Beam Distilling Company in Claremont, where the distillery still operates. To protect his signature flavor, he brought a jar of his yeast strain home every weekend. People say he strapped it in the passenger seat of his black Cadillac. In keeping with the family tradition, Jim's son, T. Jeremiah Beam, learned the art of distilling bourbon with the family secret recipe. Jim Beam passed away in 1947, leaving the legacy to his son Jeremiah.
Hey, Mr. Beam, it's Josh and Kelsey. And we come in peace and grace and love and protection. And we just come to speak to some folks that maybe haven't talked to anybody in a while. We are with a group called the Graveyard Shift. And what we do is go around talking to fine folks like yourself. Kelsey and I wanted to come and visit with you this week and see if we could ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. So first, before we jump into it, I just want to make sure that we're okay to speak with you. So we're going to hit this button and we're going to get your answer. Are we okay to speak with you, sir?
Good
All right, so we're going to go back and listen to your answer. Hopefully you gave us permission. I did hear yes.
I did hear yes also.
So hopefully we're right on that. And we want to say thank you for letting us come out here and talk with you, because it is raining and windy, and we are going above and beyond for the Graveyard Shift today, y'all. So, Mr. Beam, thanks for cooperating with us. I'm sure you're wondering what we are doing out here, trying to keep starting over because of this wind, but here we are. So, thank you for bearing with us.
Yes.
And Mr. Beam, so what we're going to do is ask you a few questions. We'll go back and listen to the responses. And Kelsey had come up with a couple
So,
questions.
Mr. Jim Beam, before we get started, I just want to make sure that you're resting peacefully before we get to all my other questions.
And how's the rest of the family resting?
I'll get in.
I heard y'all get in. I'm good. Thank you, though, sir. All right. So we're going to stop that.
We are curious, how many times did you change your recipe till you felt like you got it just right?
So how many times did you change your recipe? All right. All right, we're going to go back and listen for your answer there. My question for you, sir, is are you satisfied with the current quality of your bourbon? I've drank your bourbon many times, and I do enjoy it, but I'm curious, are you satisfied with the current quality of your bourbon? I heard yes. All right, I heard yes. So that's awesome. That's great. So that kind of leads into another question I had. Do you go back to the distillery and check up on your quality, your operations, maybe a little taste testing just to see if they got it right? Do you go back and check on things?
I thought you heard I do.
People do.
All right, I'm sure there's some good answers in there, so I cannot wait to hear that answer. We'll go back and listen to it, and we'll be able to hear it.
Mr. Jim Beam, in your opinion, is bourbon still bourbon if it's made outside Kentucky? I know that's a great debate, and I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Wouldn't be. No.
Sure, Kelsey.
Like, well,
All right, we'll go back and listen. All right, Mr. B, my question is, I know times were tough, and when you moved down to Florida after the Prohibition, did you make liquor like in the backwoods to make ends meet? Were you running moonshine on the side just to make ends meet?
Wouldn't be on. You know, maybe going on November. About like what?
All right, we'll go back and listen to those answers.
Well, I'm curious. I know during Prohibition, you had to take a break from distilling and you went on and did a variety of things. And I'm curious, what state did you work in coal mining?
Something.
All right. My last question. As a businessman, do you have any advice or wisdom to give to anybody that's listening that maybe wants to start a business? Maybe they want to go into the liquor business, or maybe they want to start something different. Do you have any advice for them? Go back and listen to your answer. I'm sure that was some great answers in there. Kelsey, you have any other questions for him?
I can't think of any others. Can you?
Actually, I think of one.
All right, go ahead and roll with it.
So the research we found, we haven't heard a lot about your beautiful wife. So our question is, because I did not see this when we looked for it, how long were you and your wife married? How many years were you guys married?
I think yes, too.
I think I heard 47.
I want to sound together round.
Mr. Beam, I have one more question for you.
Sorry, he likes to ask a lot of questions.
Sorry, I ask a lot of questions. I get going. I get excited getting to talk to you, and questions just pop in my head. But one question I have is, did you ever think about changing the recipe? Felt like things weren't working right or moving along as fast as you like. Did you want to change anything?
What's happening?
All right, Mr. Beam. We got a train coming, so I'm gonna make this quick. Are we able to come back and speak to you?
I thought I heard yeah.
You can say Elder Saturn.
Well, I hope you feel like we showed you enough respect today that we're able to come back, and we'll go back and listen to your answers. So, Mr. Bean, we sure appreciate you and your family letting us come here and speak to you today. And on behalf of the graveyard shift, we truly appreciate you. So, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
I might go home and have a little Jim Beam.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
All right, rest easy, family, and bless you. All right, graveyard shift, that about wraps it up. Great conversation with the Beam family, and I love all the family members chiming in, so that was pretty neat. It's kind of rainy, it's wet, so before we jump out of here, we just want to let you know to subscribe. If you're not subscribed to Dalen, subscribe, and it's a great community here at the graveyard shift, so y'all keep shifting. That's what we're going to do. So until the next one, I'm Josh, that's Kelsey, we are out.